Okay, so this video is all about things and memories that I have of my dad. And it's going to be very emotional and from the heart because I remember so much that he can't. So I want to start this off and say that Halsey said it best. I've got no anger, got no malice, just a little bit of regret. I regret not telling people sooner what was happening. I regret allowing you to stay out of prison, not taking anything to trial. I regret lying for you. I regret lying for you to cover up other things that you have done. So the furthest back of a memory that I can remember is, this just makes me laugh a little bit because I've seen this video that you made with your crew members about how much you loved your brother Rod. Are you kidding me? That's a serious question, John. Are you kidding me? The earliest memory that I have of you with my uncle Rodney is smashing his fingers with a hammer because he got into the trash because you refused to feed him because you're that big of a piece of shit. And I remember you smashing his fingers with the hammers, and then when his fingers were all done, you smashed his toes with a hammer in the middle of winter. Do you realize that you're evil? That you did that to my Down syndrome uncle, who literally did nothing but love you? You're disgusting. You really are. The next memory that I have is me being a scared little girl, alone, in a bedroom, by myself. And you came into my room and forced me to kiss you on your mouth, like you would kiss a grown woman. And you put your hands down my pants and touched me in the middle of the night. This went on for so many years, and you did so many horrible things to me. I remember you bringing me to the Mystic Cove in Oswego, New York, and forcing me to strip down into my underwear while you took pictures of me and made me pull my granny panties into my butt and bend over so you could take pictures of me. And you told me I was going to be a big star and I was going to be a model, and some guy named Roger in New York City was going to get these pictures and I would be famous. And now to this day, I wonder, what happened to those pictures? Did you save them for your own disgusting personal use? Or did you actually distribute them? And is my poor little girl face out on the internet, or is my body out on the internet and men have seen that all over the world? I wonder how much of my life you have destroyed without me actually knowing that you destroyed my life. You took so many pictures from so many angles with my little boobs that I didn't even have, my butt laying on a table, exposed to the world, exposed to my father. You were supposed to be my father, the person who protected me, the person who put a Band-Aid on my knee when I fell off my bike. Oh wait, I didn't have a bike because you didn't do anything for me. You lined us all up, me and a couple of my brothers, and beat me with a belt until I bled over a broken picture. And you laughed because you thought that was funny because my pain brought you some sort of happiness. You beat me with that belt until I bled, and then you laughed, and I was bleeding so much that you put me into a tub of water with salt to try to stop the bleeding from that steel belt buckle hitting me. And you thought it was funny. because that's the kind of person that you are. Other people's pain brings you happiness because you are sick.
And no matter what happens to John Ray,
So moving on to the night where everything went terrible. It's like mentally for me. I feel like this is the part of my story where I have the most PTSD and the most hate for you, because this is a turning point in my life. This is where my life turned. We were in a trailer out on Waterview Road in Oswego, and I had gotten my period the week before all of this had happened. And I remember calling you at the Mystic Cove, your store that you opened and fucking failed at because you're such trash. Anyways, I had called you to let you know that I got my period, because my mom wasn't around for me to tell her, because you destroyed my mom's life too. But that's a whole other story. I called you and I told you that I got my period, and that night you came home from the Mystic Cove and you came to me and said, tomorrow I'm going to take you somewhere special, just you and me. I thought we were going somewhere. No. The next morning, your wife went to the store and you made me stay home from school with my little sister, and you brought me into your bedroom and you took all of my clothes off and you made me lay on the bed and you spread my legs open and you put your mouth on my body, on my vagina. And you made me sit there, lay there on the bed, exposed to you. And you tugged on my pubic hair after you were done doing what you were doing. And you said, next time I'm going to teach you how to shave this. And then you put your nose into my vagina and you smelled. And you said, yeah, we need to shave it. My little sister saw what you did to me. And her mind still remembers what you did. And that I feel the worst about. That my memories also invade somebody else's head.
I have to be one of the most neurotic people you'll ever meet in your life.
Also invade somebody else's head. After all that was said and done, my little sister told her mom what she saw under the door. And I remember being taken out onto a porch, and I was so scared. I was so scared to tell the truth because of what would happen to me, that I lied for you. Because I was scared for me. After that day, a lot of things changed. Not for the good. You became more sneaky, more secretive. I was left home from school a lot more often to take care of my sisters. But in reality, it was because you wanted to do disgusting things to me. If you look back on my school records, I was never in school. I was never allowed to go to school. And then I got beat for failing school because I was never in school. I can't even fathom how you got away with what you have done to me. I cannot imagine why or how anyone didn't catch you I don't understand. I do understand because there's a lot of kids in the world that are going through things. I'm not the only kid that was going through something. And, you know, my story is not even as terrible as some people have gone through. Like, isn't that sad to say that even though I went through terrible shit, I know that my life wasn't as bad as some other kids out there. And that's honestly a huge part of what gets me through the day. The fact that somebody else had it worse. But I want you to know, Dad, because of you, I suffer every day mentally. I suffer every day emotionally. I suffer physically, sexually, because of what you did to me. I suffer because of you. In the middle of the night. Now, being 10 years old, I feel like I realized that was wrong. But I was so scared of you and what you were going to do to me that I kept my mouth shut and I didn't tell people. That's what I regret. Not telling someone sooner, because who is going to listen to a little girl? I mean, you had how many other kids? Who was going to listen to me? You weren't doing it to other people that I know of. This went on for so many years, and you did so many horrible things to me. I remember you bringing me to the Mystic Cove in Oswego, New York, and forcing me to strip down into my underwear while you took pictures of me and made me pull my granny panties into my butt and bend over so you could take pictures of me. And you told me I was going to be a big star and I was going to be a model, and some guy named Roger in New York City was going to get these pictures and I would be famous. And now to this day, I wonder, what happened to those pictures? Did you save them for your own disgusting personal use? Or did you actually distribute them? And is my poor little girl face out on the internet, or is my body out on the internet and men have seen that all over the world? I wonder how much of my life you have destroyed without me actually knowing that you destroyed my life. You took so many pictures from so many angles with my little boobs that I didn't even have, my butt laying on a table, exposed to the world, exposed to my father. You were supposed to be my father, the person who protected me, the person who put a Band-Aid on my knee when I fell off my bike. Oh wait, I didn't have a bike because you didn't do anything for me. You lined us all up, me and a couple of my brothers, and beat me with a belt until I bled over a broken picture. And you let
Be the father of my two beautiful daughters.
because you thought that was funny, because my pain brought you some sort of happiness. You beat me with that belt until I bled, and then you laughed, and I was bleeding so much that you put me into a tub of water with salt to try to stop the bleeding from that steel belt buckle hitting me. And you thought it was funny. Because that's the kind of person that you are. Other people's pain brings you happiness because you are sick. There is something wrong inside of your head that you need to get checked.
I also had a younger handicapped brother that was Down syndrome that later came back to live with me, and he stayed with me for over 40 years.
Right. So the next part of the story is going to be all about my Uncle Rodney, who was an amazing person. He I never heard my uncle complain. But I never really saw him happy either, because of the monstrous things that you have done. You are a traitor to your own brother, to your sick brother. You are a traitor to your own mother. My mom took care of your mom while you were off becoming a big shot, driving around in a limo with God only knows who, probably crackheads in a Speedo, I don't know. But my mom is the one that took care of your mom when she was dying. Your mom was the sweetest lady in the whole world. And I want you to know that Grandma Florence would be ashamed of you. She is looking down from the heavens right now, and she cannot believe that she put such a pile of shit into this world. Exposed. I'm exposing you right now because I'm tired of keeping my mouth shut. I remember you leaving, cheating on my mom, beating my mom. I remember so many times that you beat my mom, and I was so young that you would think I can't remember. But those are the memories that I seem to remember the most, the bad ones. I could sit here all day and I couldn't even come up with one single good memory that I have of you. That would be a really hard fucking task for me to do, coming up with anything that's good about you, because there's nothing good about you. Anyways, my mom took care of your mom while she was dying. And I remember her laying in a hospital bed on Utica Street, and my mom was the one changing her tubes, like her tube feed, like feeding my grandmother through a tube feed because my grandmother was dying. And I remember her going into the hospital, and then she went into a nursing home because she got dysphagia. She couldn't swallow anymore. She couldn't eat. She completely just lost her memory. And you brought my now stepmom to the hospital or the nursing home where my grandmother was dying, and didn't allow my mom to be there. I heard that a couple days prior to Uncle Rodney dying, that you had beat him, and you pushed him down a flight of stairs to the basement. And to this day, I wonder if you are the one that actually killed him. I know that, he choked on a sandwich, but I wonder if he choked because of something that you did to him. You do not deserve Uncle Rod's ashes. And I don't think that you have them anymore. I swear to God, I hope you've scattered all of them in the graveyard where your mother was laid to rest, who doesn't even have a headstone. Your mother is in a cemetery without a gravestone because you didn't have any respect enough to buy her one. You said you didn't have the money, but where did all of your money come from? That's the big question. How were you able to afford your life, the extravagant life? I mean, I know that we were poor. I know that we didn't have a lot. Well, I didn't have a lot. But you always seemed to have everything, from cameras to video recording things to computers. You had everything. And I never knew where you got the money for that. And then one day it all hit me like a ton of bricks. You are a bank robber. My dad is a bank robber. You robbed banks. And you didn't even care enough with all of that money that you got to buy your mother a headstone in a cemetery. You had my uncle cremated because it was cheaper for you than laying him in the ground. And you didn't pay for any of that. Your kids came together and paid for that. Because you didn't have the money. But what happened to all of Rodney's disability money?
It was really hell. My mother was a sweetheart. She was very naive. She did what she could. but she couldn't stop the insanity. And I knew.
Why wasn't there a life insurance plan on him so he could have a proper burial? So he could have been buried in a grave or been buried next to his mother. I don't care what happens to you. You are going to die and nobody's going to care. Because when you get older and you get out of the brainwashing shit that you put all of us kids through, when we got through all of that, we all realized how terrible and shitty of a person you were, and that's why none of us talk to you. That is why none of us want our children alone with you. Because even though some of my siblings don't say it, they know what you did to me. They know. And I know that they know. And you are going to hell. That's where you're going. Right to hell for all the times that you touched me, for the times that you spread my legs open in front of you and did terrible things to me, for every time that you beat me, for every time you beat my siblings, for every time you starved my uncle, for every time you hit my mom. God was watching every time. And you are going to hell, where you belong. And I hope your days are miserable. And I hope you live in darkness because you don't deserve to be able to see anyone. You deserve to be alone. You deserve to die alone. You deserve absolutely nothing from anybody. But my mom's the one that took care of your mom while she was dying. And you can have whatever stories that you like. You can come up with whatever stories that you have about your mother, but I remember. You fed me these stories about how my mom fed us like Ensure and popsicles, but in reality, it's because you left my mom with nothing. And then you showed up like a big hero with all this food, but you took everything from my mom and left her with nothing. That is the only reason why you had any of us children. Because you are a narcissist, you're a manipulator, you're a liar, you're a child molester, you're a thief, and you're Satan to me. So moving on to my Uncle Rodney, these memories are all jumbled up because this is like the last 31 years of my life almost. I remember when we were living out in the trailer, Rodney was so hungry, he used to get into the garbage and eat out of the garbage because you didn't feed him. Ever. Except for food that had been left in the fridge for weeks on end. That's what you fed my Uncle Rodney. You fed him rotten food and you laughed. Because you thought that was funny. Because somebody else's pain gave you pleasure. You would not tie him up, but chain him up with chains and handcuffs around his wrists and his ankles to a wooden bed that you made. He slept on a wooden board in a corner of a trailer, chained down to a bed. What if there had been a fire? What if he didn't make it out of that fire? Because you had him chained to a bed. Because you wouldn't feed him. What if there had been a fire? Literally are the definition of a pathological narcissist liar. You are the definition. I don't even know if that's a real thing, but that's what you are. You're a pathological liar. I honestly think that there's something wrong with your brain. I really do. I think that you need to be checked because you are so good at lying that I don't think that you even know the truth. I honestly wonder sometimes if you can't remember that you molested me, if you can't remember that you beat all of your children, well, most of us, if you can't remember the things that you did to Uncle Rod and to your mom and to my mom. I honestly think that you need to be checked because nobody should have been born this good of a liar. And you tell stories to people. You tell people that I'm schizophrenic, that I am the liar, that I'm the pathological liar, that that I have hallucinations. But the only thing is, if I was the hallucinator and I was the pathological liar and I was the manipulator and I was schizophrenic, why does everybody remember what you've done now? Now that all of my siblings don't live with you? Are we all schizophrenic? Are we all liars? Are we all pathological? Because it's just laughable that you can't remember the horrible things that you have done to us. Who can't remember that?
There were bitter thoughts in my head of why me, why can't I have this lifestyle that I've seen so many other kids have, that I feel like I was cheated out of.
For some reason, back in 2008, December, I had a daughter. I had a little girl. And a part of me was broken because I didn't have a dad anymore. And I came to your house with my daughter. I did not want to be there with my daughter, but I came there, and I remember telling you that this is my daughter and you'll never hurt her the way that you hurt me. And for some reason, I made amends with you because I missed my siblings that I had not talked to since I was 13 years old. I missed out on 5 years of my siblings' lives because of you. I missed out on more of their lives because of you. But those 5 years in specific, growing up, having to go to school with them and knowing that they wouldn't even talk to me in school because you brainwashed them. You made them believe that I was the one that was bad, that I was the one that was crazy, that I was the one that had problems. I didn't see my siblings for 5 years, and I wanted to make amends because I missed my little sisters. I missed my little brothers, and I told you it was over, that I forgave you for what you had done to me. And we moved on, and I was able to take my brother and sisters overnight again. I was able to be a part of their life. This went on for a couple months after Bella was born. I want to say it was that summer, and you pulled me aside and you told me that I had to lie, that I had to tell people that my mom and my stepdad made me come up with an elaborate story of you molesting me, and you even tried to make me go to the jail and talk to the prosecuting attorney to try to get your name cleared. And you had me write a statement that you got notarized. But what you failed to tell all of those people is that you told me if I didn't say that, I would never be allowed to see my brothers and sisters again. That they were going to be ripped from my life again. That I had to come up with a lie for you to clear your name for what you had done to me, because you cannot accept responsibility for your actions, because you literally
like I said, from an early age, I had kind of a different lifestyle. I actually ran away from home when I was 15. I hitchhiked all the way from upstate New York around Kroger Lake to California. I was homeless for about almost 2 years. Slept under a bridge.
So now I'm challenging you. If you're not a liar, take a lie detector test. I will. I'll take one too. I'll take one with you. If you didn't do these horrible things to me, then you'll have no problem. I know that I'm not going to have a problem because I don't lie. Because I know what you've done to me. So take the lie detector test. Prove me wrong. Let America know that you really are the victim and not the villain. I got a feeling it's not going to work out for you. So let's take the test together. I'd be willing to do that. Prove me wrong.